Sword Making, a poem by Sri Sri, and translated by our very own Tree. This country sends thugs and persecutioners to those who say twice two is four. The mouths of their jails open for those who claim safety cannot be partitioned. Brandishing non-violence, we wish to conquer our colonizers and declaim we've won our nation without shedding blood. Using the heavy machinery of corruption, they have raised the price of injustice, earning compound interests on our rich deposits of independence. For those who know the truth, in a world that changes every moment, supporting the ordinary man has become rank treachery. Aspire! This is good. But not all aspirations are good. In the conflict of aspirations, oneself is one's weapon. So I say, reach for a weapon. Only when you act will your anger be fulfilled. Here I make this sword that kills Adharma, a sword made by a pen, a heaven made by a people. This sword is not for reinventing cobwebbed ideas, it is for uprooting the rotting tree of society. Bring this blade to the black market. With it, kill liars and con men. This will establish equality, point to a new path. With this sword, make your imagination ready for war, with reckless abandon in the battlefront to move the people's armies. That is why I am writing this poem, making a sword. Join us. Doubt not. Here is the truth. The new Dharma is the people's Dharma, more powerful than atomic power. Join us. Join us. Don't hesitate. When you see me, you see the factory of my mind. I exhale the fires of emotion. I am enveloped in the smoke of its fire. Join us. Join us here. We write the song of the sun's heat. We forge a weapon as hard as diamond.
Uduasha City, where the sun is a mirror and the moon a shadow, where dancers cavort in forbidden operas, making love to forgetting and flaying, where the wealthy play at war with silver swords and silken sashes, where the people mine the dead heart of a burning star for cannonballs and pipework, and where 1,000 secrets hide in a forest of paper and ink. Here the 5 keybearers reside, the 5 who know the secrets of the broken gates of death. 5 only. There is no 6th spire, forlorn and forgotten in the desert. There is no one who looks to the displaced, the poor and destitute and landless, whose ancestry has been stripped from them by foreign looms and foreign sparkcraft, and no one has ever heard of the House of Ending. But this is their story. Their roots pulled up and burned, they stand in filth up to their necks. And that is precisely why they must keep their heads ever high. Welcome to Uduasha, immigrant. May it fear the name of the house you will build. Welcome to Desperate Attune, an actual play podcast about characters with their identities in peril, played by an international cast devoted to fiction-first gaming, collaborative world-building, and complex character drama. Welcome back to Desperate Attune. I am Prince, your host, and last session we said goodbye to Moss on the Rung that breaks your ankle, and we also said goodbye to Emma. And going forward, we will be the crew that we are today, namely Klow. Hello, Klow.
Hello.
Aadiyat. Hello, Aadiyat.
Hello.
3.
We're just normal men.
And Salty.
We're just innocent men.
Yeah, Good. Hello. So this is our crew, and last session we touched upon a variety of things, mostly Bidrohi's return from prison and Moss's subsequent departure. But of course, a lot of things have been going on in the district of Bunderwest in Bidrohi's absence. And so today we will turn our eyes to what precisely has happened in this district. And in brief, well, the Rocca people have departed, and this leaves the Ketterisi people present fewer in number, of course, and also they have had a bad time of things, because the Falling Star Sword School went to war on the Ketterisi, our crew went underground, and yeah, a number of things have come to pass. We also haven't yet done downtime. I don't think. Correct
No,
me if
we
I'm
have
wrong.
We have
We
not.
can breeze through that. We can breeze through
Yeah.
that if necessary.
So I think it makes sense to start with doing downtime, and in this anchor the other things that are going on, right?
Mhm.
So yes, so we will be checking in with Bunderwest, and also those of you who want to check us out on Patreon can learn more about Uduasha there. Also, you get to hear our after session talks, which are Patreon exclusive. Okay. Shall we breeze through downtime? Does anyone want to begin?
I think I should begin.
Mhm.
So, I have one stress.
Yeah. Because of
Which, yes, I have one stress because I think I assisted someone with something. I don't remember. I did something.
Yep.
And I'm going to take this one stress and I'm going to go reconnect with my girlfriend, Mumtaz.
Wait a second. You're gonna indulge your vice with one stress.
Listen, I was surprised that I have one stress, but I would have indulged my vice anyway because, well, this
I mean,
is my
rules is written to be clear. If you don't indulge your vice and you have a trauma, you gain stress. So
Yeah,
I'm
so
not
there's-
saying you shouldn't, but
There's that, but when your vice is your girlfriend and you have been in prison for several months, I think it makes absolute sense to go see them.
yeah.
Which is your vice indulgence.
Yep.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
How about I just roll? I like to roll these things in advance, and then that colors the scene.
Okay, sure. I mean, you're almost
Let me-
definitely going to overindulge, so.
Yeah, almost definitely.
Mm-hmm. But sure, you may go ahead and
There we
roll
go.
this.
And I have done so. I haven't overindulged.
You have overindulged. Very good.
Yes. All right.
Is this
So-
how the Falling Star is gonna find out that you've come back in town?
Quite possibly. And I think we're going to go with heat here as a result of this overindulgence. And,
because the crew just got a little bit hotter now that I'm back in town. What can I say?
actually, we'll see if it's heat. It may turn out that it's something else,
Okay.
because
Okay.
what happens is that you return to Ash Cloister in an attempt to see your girlfriend, who, when we left
Not
off...
only in an attempt, I must say, but in a wonderful and very, very well chosen kurta that really brings out the color of the rose that I'm holding in my teeth.
Yeah. When we last saw Mumtaz, she and her crew had performed a quite successful opera which you disrupted for the Falling Star Sword School leaders. And as it turns out, when you get back to Ashcloister, the reason that it's difficult to see her, and we will find out exactly how this is an overindulgence, to be clear, but the reason that it's difficult to see her is that there is a crowd, nay, a throng of admirers outside. They have moved around a little bit, as opera troupes do, so you need to ask for them in a different part of Ashcloister. They are no longer hanging out at the Chipped Cup. Well, they never were regulars there. They performed there on occasion. But now there is a new venue, a beautiful, like, garden venue in the side of the mountain, probably hysterically expensive, where there is a group of people outside the door chancing just a glimpse at Mumtaz, because it turns out the Blue Smoke troupe has been getting famous, and so has she.
Good for her.
Yeah.
This is what we want.
But this means, tell me how you're planning to get past the crowd, because there's a group of, like, security guys. They're very disorganized. This is not, nobility, nor is it modern security, but there are men with truncheons, trying to keep away the crowd of people chancing to get a glimpse at her.
Okay. You can tell me if this is not something that works, but I think they would have had they would have hired like a guard, just like we have like Butler. You know, they would have had a guy like Butler, and obviously now they have like a bigger team. But I think they have their equivalent of Butler is still the guy, and he knows me obviously. So I think I'm going to kind of like weave my way through the crowd. I'm not like pushing and shoving, but I'm like much more graceful than them. So I managed to kind of like duck underneath people, and I think I'm just going to kind of like pop out underneath this guy's elbow, and I'll just be like, what's his name?
While you think about his name, whatever happened to childish Crumpino?
I'm sure he's not out here.
Yeah, he's still part of the troop. Like,
he is still part of the troop. Right?
Well.
Okay, just
Yeah.
confirming. Yeah, cool.
No one else would want him.
Yeah.
Also, he's actually a very talented acrobat. So.
Yeah, it's important that they keep him actually because he is a draw.
Yeah.
Okay. So I show up underneath the elbow of this very tall, very well-built man.
Yeah, so you're
I'm
saying
just
they
going
kept the same security guy. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and they have other ones as well. Yeah. And I'm just going to kind of like tug at his sleeve and say, "Hello, Anaconda. Do you remember me? I'm Bidrohi." Mumtaz's boyfriend.
Yeah, so Anaconda turns around. There's like a big... he's like a big mustachioed man. When you said Anaconda, for some reason, I imagine him with a huge mustache. I don't know why I made that association, but I'm going with it.
I love that for you.
Yes.
This is like a trans man who's decided that he's going to change his name, and the new name's going to be Anaconda because who's going to stop me?
Yeah.
And now we all realize that it was an error, and we should have stopped him a long time ago.
Yes. Very good.
I like to think that he's still growing his real mustache, but this wax mustache is on top while his and one day he's just going to take it off, and then his real mustache is going to be underneath, and it's the same one. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, very good. So this double mustachioed man turns around and raises a very big eyebrow and says, "Oh, Bidrohi. Well, this is
how
awkward.
are the wives and the kids?"
Oh, fine. Thank you. Everything's fine. It's just, aren't you, dead?
So, any man who has not seen Mumtaz in several months, of course he is dead, but I am looking forward to having my heart rate skyrocketing.
Oh no.
Well, all right. I mean, fair enough. Bidrohi, and I think this is heat actually, because there's still a crowd around, and you have said your name and he's repeating it, so someone had to heat to the crew, just by Bidrohi's name being thrown around in this context.
I'll do it.
Excellent.
I'll do it. I will add. Yeah.
I
am canonically hot.
Yep. And
mechanically.
Yes. And as you slip past, he does grab your shoulder and he says, There's one thing though. This place the troop is staying at, we got a patron now. It's House Anrakis.
I know House Anrakis very well. It's all very good. Who is it like anyone specific, or is it House Anrakis in general?
Okay. Just because I think he was an Anrakis, the guy who is suing your tailor friend, I think it's him. So...
Anish Anrakis?
Yes.
I hate that.
Yes, I think it's Anish Anrakis.
I hate that so much.
Yeah.
But not as much as Tree hates it.
Yes, so...
I have no comment regarding this. Why would I? I am totally fine with this. It's totally
No, I remember when Anish Anrakis was mentioned, you lost your shit. I remember that.
Yes. So... He scratches his chin and he says, it's Anish.
Who?
Anish Anrakis. That you asked for a name, I'm giving you a name. I don't know the man, I'm not nobility. What do you want from me?
Anish and Rakesh. Where have I heard that name before? Oh, what I want from you is many things, my friend, including your everlasting friendship, because you are a very cool guy, and also your tips on how to grow a mustache. I am thinking also of growing one, but we are digressing. And I'm just gonna stand there like thinking as though he's got nothing better to do with his time than indulge me.
Yeah.
Anish and I remember. Yes, this is the man who's like some horrible like ideas about like Iruvian shadow silk and stuff like that. Oh, he's like so fucking gosh, man. Have you seen his clothes? He makes clothes.
Yes, he's fond of silk.
So fucking gosh, man. Listen, I know a guy who can. Who are you wearing now?
You ask him. He looks down with some trepidation, and he says, "Don't tell anyone, but costume department." Because he's part of an opera troupe.
Costume department. Do you think costume department is hiring people? No, really.
I'd imagine so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd have to talk to the boss about that.
Maybe I will. Thank you, Anaconda. We shall have to catch up very soon over some chai and some gulab jamuns. And please give my best to your wives and children.
Mm.
And anyone else who you have hanging on that is a dependent upon you and is very important to you, whom I have not yet had the pleasure to know about, please tell them that I am thinking about them too.
Yes, and I think this is the moment, as you say this, that we see, like, this is again like a residence, a kind of like, it's probably a theater venue too, but it is a residence, and it has like a balcony or an elevated terrace with some flowers on it. And I think this is the moment where we actually see Mumtaz move up above. Like, she steps on the terrace, probably just going from point A to point B, but the crowd behind like shouts out, and there's like cries of admiration of like catching a glimpse of her. She's really achieved celebrity, and you look up to see your beautiful girlfriend with her black hair set up with a ribbon and wearing shadow silk.
Friends, no! How could you do this to me?
Uh-huh. She's got a gorgeously elegant black dress on.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to roll resolve as fortune. It's a 5. Okay. If it was a failure, I would have been like, she looks like absolute shit in it, I think. If it was a 6, I would have said that she looks incredibly good in it. I think now it's like, I mean, it kind of suits her, but like, come on. She can do better.
Yeah.
So she's up there, right? And she hasn't noticed me.
No.
I'm going to, like, so I'm assuming it's like the second story, and then there's a sort of staircase down. There's a sort of like railings looking down to where we were. Okay. I'm going to climb the pillars. I'm going to jump on the pillars.
Yeah. Of course you are.
I'm going to yes, because there's always a convenient place for my cool stunts.
Yeah, absolutely. So you clamber up the pillars. At this point, she notices you, and she looks down. There is an audible gasp, and she turns. And what she's carrying in her hand, you notice in this moment, is an artificial, not real, but still very beautiful black silk rose. And she turns, and I think she drops it in shock, so that it sails down towards you.
And I'm going to take the rose out of my mouth, and I'm going to wield it like a little sword, and I'm going to knock that sword, that black rose away, as I fling myself up towards her.
Yeah. He
what light through yonder window breaks.
Yes. She stands on the balcony, caught back for a moment, and then she says, "It really is you. So, not a letter, not a word. You fake your own death, and you don't even let me in on the scheme."
It's so much more mysterious and sexy this way, isn't it? And then I'm going to sweep her down for a kiss.
Yeah, she joins in. She is like swept down, and you kiss her, and she says, "Just so you know, I'm sort of working a job here."
Do you have 15 minutes break.
Fine, all right, yes. I have 15 minutes break, but then I really have to get back to... Wait, Cherubino said you were dead.
You're basing all of this on Cherubino?
No, but my other sources couldn't find you. And the last time anyone saw of you, you were down speaking with the Rakshasa.
Listen. Okay, there's 15 minutes. Okay, we can either have wonderful, glorious sex or we can have a 15-minute conversation. Please choose.
Fine. But you better hurry up before...
I was actually asking her to choose.
Yeah. She throws her hair back and she says, I have a lot of questions, but I don't have time for them. And she grabs you by the shirt and pulls you into a room. And she is going to have sex with you, if that is all the time you have. But I think
sex.
As you press her up against the wall in this like shaded back room into which you are spirited away, highly visibly in front of these people, she says, but this is rather complicating my scheme of pulling a romance scam on Anish and Rakis.
Listen, now I mean, I don't know. Bidrohi is a duelist. I think he's perfectly capable of making conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So one imagines that this conversation
with words and swords.
And he's got plenty of those. Wait, was this a metaphor?
More than one sword? That's
yeah. Anyway.
Yes. I think he will make the point that for a man like Anish and Rakis, then surely what would fire him up most is the thought that the actress that he is courting is also being courted by some loutish young ruffian with good looks.
Absolutely. And so here's another reason why you're taking heat. But yes, we fade to black as we see the light play gloriously through this. I'm imagining these shutters which let some of the light in. It's like very romantic lighting. And you learn this about your girlfriend. You have some time alone with her. But yeah, two things have happened. She is a celebrity and she has drawn the attention, and the troupe have drawn the patronage of Anish and Rakis.
So I'm happy to pass the spotlight on, but there is one thing that I'd like to talk to her about at some point. Well, I guess now she's only got 15 minutes to be established, but maybe as I'm like getting dressed, I'll just pop this to her. So I can see the touch of the Anish and Rakis, the shadow silk and so on all over you. And I think, okay, on you everything looks good. This is still good stuff, but like there is a man that Anish and Rakis has personally fucked over. Okay? Fucked over. And not in a nice way. Okay? Badly. Incompetently.
You want to talk about fucking people over now, do you? She says as she pulls her shadow silk dress back on.
Yes. Thematics and so on, we understand. And, of course, you're always on the lookout for it as someone who's into dramatology. But this man, Tum Dorji, I have spoken about him many times to you. You know this name, right? Anish and Rakis fucked him over. And now Tum Dorji, this absolute artiste, is unemployed. And I'm trying to do what I can for him. But I think what would be absolutely the best way to like stick the finger up towards Anish and Rakis, if you will allow me, if you think this is a cool idea, is to give Tum Dorji a little bit of a contract with maybe the Blue Smoke Troupe. You will be amazed at the costumes you can make. Really.
If you want to help your friends, I mean, this has been lovely, and I have missed you, but if you want to help your friends, maybe you should have done it while you were dead and didn't tell anyone.
How does that make sense?
Well, while you were dead, I think she thinks you faked your own death, but she's pissed that she wasn't told about it.
To be clear, anyone would be pissed if their long-term boyfriend died, came back to life, didn't tell her that it was all a lie, and then just said, hey, do you want to have sex with me or talk about your feelings?
Yes. Exactly. She's not in a good mood, and she's not in a mood to be helpful to you right now.
No, I don't blame her.
She may still be attracted to you, but she's also very angry.
Correct.
You know what? I'm still going to seed the thought of Tum Dorji in her mind, and I will follow up on this.
Okay, well, in that case, it's an action roll, I think,
Yes.
and there's risk here.
Yes.
There's risk of pissing her off further. If you you turn up and you don't talk about her, you talk about your weird friend. This is
My
not
weird
the best
friend?
boyfriend behavior.
Weird friend. I'm talking about an artiste.
Mhm. Yes,
This
which is
this transcends.
which is
This
a
is in the
synonym
favor.
for weird friend.
Listen, we skipped all over the parts where we said nice things to each other. Okay,
Mhm.
just because I didn't role play a full romantic conversation doesn't mean it didn't
no.
happen. Yeah?
No, but you
No,
did
no.
not. You did not explain anything to her. So
She's a professional. I'm a professional. What's there to understand?
yeah, no. I mean, to be clear, the reason why she's
No,
not more
I'm
offended
just
than she is. The reason why she's not more offended than she is that she is a scam artist by trade. Like she's faked her death before it happens. She's more angry that you didn't let her in on it. It's,
Fine. I didn't know we were serious. Okay.
yeah,
You didn't
yeah.
know they
Mumtaz.
would.
Okay. I'm going to start a long-term project to get Tumdurji employed. It doesn't have to be employed just here because
Mhm.
they can't employ him full-time. But I'm going to get him like various like jobs across the city.
Okay. How we're going to frame this is you can start this as a project, but this role won't work on it. This role is more about can you get Mumtaz back on your good side. However, if this role succeeds, it will be a 6 clock.
Okay.
If this role doesn't, it will be more difficult.
All right.
Mhm.
This is a moment, if any, to sway. To
Yes.
sway.
It's risky standard. If you want to go up
Yeah.
to great, you can also take the clock if you succeed. But
And I suppose Gallant doesn't come into this.
no,
Because
I
I've
don't
already
think so.
made the intimate connection long ago.
Mhm.
And very well, I might add.
Yep.
Desperate great. Okay, fine.
You're trading
Fine.
for desperate great.
Yes.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I think I might also frame this as like, a way to kind of like we could even work some sort of angle here. This might even help you with your heist.
Mhm. Sure.
I don't know how it would, but maybe it will. I don't know. May I have a devil's bargain, sir?
Okay. Sure. You may have a devil's bargain, and the devil's bargain in this case is more of an out of character thing. This is not a Bidrohi choice. This is a player choice. It's Anaconda gets fired. He let someone in who very clearly wasn't supposed to be here, and Mumtaz will have to lean on like, no, this guy broke in somehow. So this man you have just befriended will get fired from his job.
That is such a good devil's bargain.
What? Symmetry. Getting my friend a job? Making my friend lose a job?
Yeah. I know. Do you take it?
No. Never.
Yep. There you go.
In this economy? Never.
Mhm.
I will instead push myself, which is very funny given that I'm indulging vice.
Yes. Well, you just finished indulging vice. Now
Yes,
you're trying
yes,
to work
Yes.
your.
Yeah, I know.
But it's a
Aha!
6. Okay. So start the 6 clock and tick it. And I guess what we learn is that Mumtaz, while she is still angry, she goes like, fine, you owe me an explanation after all this. You really do. When we can sit down and talk about it. But I could actually use a tailor. Okay, I have an angle.
Absolutely. And listen, you're the one who said that 15 minutes is all we have. Well, okay, I said 15 minutes. I asked you if you have 15 minutes. You said you don't have time. Listen, we can work it all out and I will like make it all up to you and all those things. But Tumdurji,
I will
Yes.
see you when I'm incognito, and your friend Tumdurji will help me be incognito. How about that?
absolutely. You can be disguised as another kind of very well-dressed woman. I will now jump out through this window.
All right. Just one more question.
Ah,
As you leave.
I say on the windowsill.
Sexy nurse or sexy waitress?
Oh my god.
Hold on. Time to roll RD2. I think sexy waitress is an immaculate choice because this city is full of people who are always all the time eating and thinking about food, but very few people are thinking about their health.
Right. All right. I'll I'll infiltrate your gang via Mushfik, then I'll see you.
Very good.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what she's going to do.
I would trust Mushfik Bhai with my girlfriend any day.
I think she's planning to actually deceive Mushfik and just hope that he will focus on looking at his food. So
Yes.
I mean that's an easy bet, isn't it? Aadiyat has just said beer, which is depriving us of wonderful Mushfik reactions to this, but we'll see. Okay, I jump out to the window, but not discreetly. I wish to be seen to be jumping out through the window, as it were.
Excellent. Okay, you have successfully overindulged, added on some heat, and you have started a project. And I suppose
stress.
You can take a downtime action of working on them.
I am going to train prowess. And just kind of finish up my downtime and maybe pay more for it later because I have 3. I can take 3.
Okay, so your third downtime action is practicing prowess by jumping out the window.
Jumping out the window, grabbing a hold of a rope, kind of like swinging across the street, and I think just fly off, just saying, "Ketris in the boat!"
Of course. Lovely.
Yes.
Yes. All right. There is more stuff going on in Bundervest, but shall we move towards a different character's downtime actions? Shall we move towards, say, Clem?
I think that actually works really well because I was also going to train prowess. So this is thematically appropriate. I think what Clem's been doing to be training prowess is helping around the Moonlit boarding house, helping around the various businesses of Bundervest, Woots, etc. Lending a hand here because it's a difficult time after Boss has left, and they feel like they need to kind of insinuate themselves into this community. They've been offered so much, and they've given not very much back.
So you're practicing prowess by doing hard labor, like menial labor.
Yes, menial labor.
Absolutely. And I think part of that is securing the boarding house, because we have established that after Moonlit figured out that the crew has gotten in so much trouble, she has started like boarding up the place, securing it, protecting it, and I think this is precisely the sort of thing that you'd be good at helping out with. So very well, dragging heavy planks and whatnot into position. All right, cool. So that's a downtime action getting you some prowess. I also think that it is work that will make you aware of the threat towards the boarding house. And this is not just the Falling Star Sword School. It is also the case that you will see some like masked individuals passing through the streets, mostly at night, not when they can be seen. And it is in fact Jackal's squad, the Skovlanders that have a beef with Bidrohi and have not really seen Bidrohi since the incident with the spoiled chili.
Oh yes, that was the last time we saw them. Correct.
Yeah. And what has happened in Bundervest with Jackal's squad is that they have more and more taken on the role of mercenaries and vigilantes now against like crimes against the Skovlander community. They have more and more become sort of cops within the neighborhood, and even taken on a little bit of patrolling like the Ketrisy street, for better or worse, because no one here really trusts them, and they've upped the paranoia, something incredible. They are sort of butting in on Ketrisy turf at this point, although mostly it seems to do their nighttime vigilante activities. So,
could I frame a scene here where Clem is finishing up the day of work later at night, and then maybe Jackal or some of their thugs have come along to the boarding house, perhaps?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think there's something there.
Do you think it's Jackal herself or one of her high-ranking officers?
Oh.
I will let you choose here.
Oh. I want to see some Jackal. I'd like to see some Clem v Jackal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. And I'd also like to suggest Mushfik might be here as well.
Sure.
When Aadiyat's back. Yeah.
No. Yes.
Yes. And
Okay. So
I just like them together.
Yeah, it's night. You have finished up some hard work around the boarding house where Mushfik lives, so it's not strange for him to be about. And you become aware, I think, and I think Jackal's not playing this like in the rooftop leaping lurker style. I think what's happening is it's late at night, not many people are about, like a moonless night, so it's unusually dark even for the Shattered Isle setting. And of course the sun has been taken down, which is a normal thing that happens in Uduasha. And Jackal's just basically going to be strolling through the streets in the dark with like a small hooded lantern, so there's a little bit of light, and you see this figure in like a broad hat and a badass long coat coming up and just like kind of looking at the boarding house and being stealthy enough that if you're not a blade scoundrel, you probably wouldn't notice her.
Looking for a place to stay, stranger?
Yeah, I think there is a moment's hesitation, and then I think the lantern is lit so that you can't see, like opened so that you can't see the person behind it, right? It's just like a blinding light. And she steps forwards and says, "You don't know your way around, do you? This is hardly a safe place to stay the night."
Must confess we've not met. What are you doing skulking around in the dark? Don't you know there's bad things about this time of night?
Honey, I am the bad thing. Is the answer.
Clem just folds their arms like, okay, sure, honey.
So,
what brings you here? What do you want?
I am just trying to keep an eye on the neighborhood because, if you weren't aware of it, there's a lot of outsiders in Bundevest recently what don't belong. And it's unclear if this is a threat towards you or the boarding house or someone else.
Where's Clem? It's like down on the streets or?
Yeah, outside the boarding house. I imagine this was like you're working late and you were doing something outside. Probably just like carrying some like planks that arrived late in the day because of delays and whatever.
Yeah, carrying
you're not
planks.
You're not boarding them up now, but it's the plan to like put them somewhere, and then when you have some light, you can put them up.
Flexing, the usual, shirt off, sweat trickling down, and I'm just going to flag. I've filled my prowess and I've popped in prowl. So I think Clem stands forward and is like, "Now, what's that supposed to mean, huh? Doesn't look like you're prowling around out here." Now, in my experience, people who are prowling around only are looking for trouble. Are you looking for trouble, stranger?
Well, yeah, I am. And I don't know you. I don't know if you're friend or foe, but you ain't Kethrisi. And you sure as hell ain't Skovlander either.
I think Mushvik is probably inside the boarding house and maybe is hearing the conversation outside, so he pokes his head out of his...
You recognize Jackal's voice. You've met her before, so...
Yeah, so I think Mushvik just pokes his head out of its window, looks down, and he goes, What's going on there? Oh, Jackal, is that you?
I'm flattered you recognize me, even in the dead of night. But then I strike a figure, don't I?
What the hell kind of time is this to bother a man? Get out of here!
So I just love the idea of Mushvik going, "Go on, shoot!"
Yes. Some men would love to be bothered this time at night by a jackal.
Yes. She says,
"Look, if you're still looking for your shoe, I don't know where it is. All right."
Yeah, she's mildly offended at this, and then she says, "Actually, not that it's any of your business, but I'm looking for your little man. Word has it, he got out."
My little man?
Yeah, well, your families. I don't understand how you're all related, to be honest.
Will Sherikhatam not claim me? Will Sherikhatam not claim me as his own?
He would, but not as his little man, I don't think.
Okay. Oh, fair enough.
Why, are you afraid he's going to cause trouble? Or are you trying to protect him?
It's not about protecting him so much. It's about protecting my territory, my turf, as it were. Now I don't want no trouble started here. Yes, she is claiming the boarding house as her turf.
I think Clem is going to step out of the light towards the light of Jackal's lantern and go,
Yeah.
I'm afraid this isn't your turf, Jackal.
Oh, really?
I'm going to ask you now to run along. Otherwise, there will be blood spilt here tonight. This is my turf. Our turf. You're going to fuck off.
She I think she says, "Oh, really? The money the good folk around here have been paying me says different. They don't trust you anymore."
Why should they trust you? All I see is just some skulker in the dark.
Yeah. She laughs slowly behind her lantern. Yeah, Mushfik, go ahead.
Saying that, I think, like, time maybe Clem needs some backup, so Mushfik's gonna climb out of the window, still in his pajamas, right? And then hop down onto the street, and look Jackal in the eye and say, "Look, I don't know what you're trying to pull here, but I'm very used to killing people who come into my home and then claim it as their own."
Honey, it ain't me you should be worrying about. You should be worried about these blades in the dark. And she throws into the light the broken sword of one of the falling star, like, junior swordsmen. Probably someone who wanted to prove himself. And it's like the hilt with the blade broken off that clatters to the ground. And I think she's going to use this moment to, like, fuck off because she doesn't want to fight both of you. But she also is making a point of, you couldn't protect your territory, so I did. So now it's mine.
No, she's not fucking off.
Okay.
Cam's going to bull rush her. And just bring her down ideally bring her down to the ground. Curb, face.
Okay.
Tell us what you know.
Very well. You may do this, but it's an action and there's risk to it for sure. You will start out in a risky, limited position. And the reason it's limited is you can't see her. She has deliberately blinded you with a lantern. So, like, she's behind the light. She can see you. You can't see her.
Can Clem resist that before that happens?
You can resist it if you want, as a precondition thing. It's sort of been established that she's shown the light in your face. You can resist it if you want to do that, and then it'll be risky standard. Or you can just go with the risky limited and attack somewhat blind.
Yeah. Because I don't think Destroyer applies here. So, I mean, I suppose I'm sabotaging her. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, you're not, like, breaking something here. If you were breaking her lantern, it would apply, but, if you're just rushing without being able to see her clearly, you have limited effect.
Yeah. I'm going to trade up for Desperate Standard.
Okay.
Just going straight fucking. And I'm also going to mark my Fine Shield as well. So I've got that on me. Snatch it up from the cobblestones. And we're just going to fucking Captain America throw it at her to trip her up.
Okay. Sure. Desperate Standard. If you succeed, you will knock her to the ground here and have a chance to have a conversation with her.
And I think this is probably wreck. Breaching her defenses with force, creating chaos, etc.
Yep.
Fantastic. Desperate Standard. Is there any? Is there a devil's bargain here?
Sure. So, what's the appropriate? Yeah, I think the devil's bargain I can think of is Moonlit sees this whole affair and she does not approve.
Oh no, Moonlit's approval.
Yeah, I mean, you've been trying to make friends with her, so I think it's an appropriately cruel devil's bargain, because Moonlit is not generally a fan of violence in the streets, and now you're instigating it.
Yeah. I don't think I'll take that.
Yeah,
but I will keep it in mind. Moonlit doesn't like what Clem is good at. Interesting. So I'll just... That's 5.
Okay. So, so the consequence here is you will knock Jackal down to the street. You throw the shield at her, so there's some distance between you, if I'm understanding this correctly.
Yeah.
So you will keep her from escaping. You will knock her down and like stun her, so she's just kind of rolling around in the gutter. Her reflexive instinct is to throw the lantern at you, and it's filled with fire oil because Jackal has tricks up her sleeves, Skovlander walker tricks, the kind Moss might deploy. And so you're going to catch fire, and you take a level 3 harm on fire.
I'm on fire.
Yeah.
Can I mark armor to resist that?
I mean, don't you have a gas mask as part of your special equipment?
Oh shit! Yeah, I do have a gas mask. Yeah.
I think you can mark armor because of that, right? So yes, sure, you actually have the equipment suitable against this. So you may mark armor. You still take a level 2 harm burns in that case, unless you also resist it.
I don't know. I just think it's very cool being on fire, walking towards the. Oh shit! New legend. The fucking flaming vigilante.
Okay, so you're going to be on fire, but since you have a flame retardant gas mask and stuff, you only take level 2 harm. Some still quite horrific burns, but not incapacitating ones.
I'm going to call that small.
Can I join the scene?
Go for it.
Sure.
I think you hear from down the street singing, "Grand pianos crash together when my boy walks down the street." What the hell's happening here?
Yeah, and you will see Clem in a gas mask on fire, advancing on Jackal, who is rolling away in the gutter, having basically had the wind knocked out of her by the shield.
Someone on fire!
Clem stoops down, picks up the shield, and just kicks Jackal over and goes, "Fucking dirty skull tricks, huh?"
Someone's on fire!
Yes, I know. I was gonna say, I'm gonna, regardless of what mechanical thing this says, she's gonna like take his his t-shirt or whatever he's wearing off, and then try to like put pat it on Clem to put the fire out. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, so you are trying to put that out. Jackal is on the ground. Yeah. Absolutely. Who wants to take the initiative here? Because there's a lot going on. Jackal is being kicked, rolled aside. Clem is being put out. Bidrohi. I'm going to ask Bidrohi.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I am obviously rushing towards the person on fire, who's clearly rolling around on the ground trying to do something. I can't really tell what's going on. I see Shedakatam bounding forward, and this gives me heart that the two of us can together save this person before they burn to death. In fact, I see no reason for us to understand, for me at least, to understand anything about what's going on, except that someone's on fire.
Yeah, makes sense. So you're just rushing for... Okay, Clem, you're on fire. A person is trying to put you out. You apparently have no interest in that, but more interest in kicking Jackal. What's your next action?
Kicking Jackal to roll her over, and Ben goes, Get off! What do you mean, fucking falling stars? What's going on? Tell me.
Yeah, he coughs, and she says, "I don't know. They come here. They're looking for your little man. They want to kill him. We got the guy. Way I see it, you always want."
Is that Clem? Is that Jackal?
Yeah, Jackal is on the ground under Clem's foot. This is... Yeah.
Yes, I've had.
There's also, since the area is well lit now, a broken sword on the ground. Just pointing that out. That would be visible.
Clem, have you been trying to murder my rival?
This is your rival, Bidrohi.
Yes, I claim her as my own. I don't know why I said that's an insane sentence to say, but I think that's the sort of thing you would say. Yeah, sure.
Mushfiq was still trying to put the fire out.
Yes, Jackal has
Jackal
that.
has a crush on Bidrohi. Yeah, this is partly. So what's happened here, to zoom out, is that Jackal has a crush on Bidrohi. Someone showed up and was like, "I'ma kill Bidrohi." She's like, "No, only I get to kill him." And then she realized that getting rid of these assassins is actually kind of a good way to make her and her gang look cool. So.
So what happened is that what Bidrohi is saying to Clem is exactly what Jackal said to whoever those assassins were.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much.
He's mine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, young love.
So yes, Bidrohi rushes in with some confusion in the scene. I think there is a split second for people to act here, but I looked this up, and Jackal is not like fantastically more powerful than you guys, so she's not going to act with the kind of celerity where there is a resistance roll. But she is going to look up and give a hand signal, because she didn't come here alone. That'd be stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So that also happens.
Yeah. Like, okay, so what's going on? Jackal, why are you on the ground? This is like definitely not a cool look for you.
Mm-hmm.
Clem,
She says,
and sibling Clem, is this like a new look you're trying out, being on fire?
While Mushfiq is patting it out with his shirt.
This is not sustainable fashion.
Yeah. Jackal says, "Everybody better back off now. I came here to give you that sword, Bidrohi, and you owe me one." She says, trying to like stabilize herself somewhat because she is in a lot of pain. But you know,
No, I don't think you're owed anything by anyone here.
Exactly, Jackal. Maybe it's different in Scotland, but in Iruvia, when you come and give a gift to someone, it's a gift. You can be like, "Oh, now you have to do me a favor." That's like really crass, okay?
Okay, so she has given her hand signal. I've given you enough advance warning. Clem, you're being hit over the head with a barrel. You can resist that if you want. No one did anything about your hand signal.
Mobilizing.
Very good.
So this is the thing that just happens unless you resist it.
Of course I'm going to resist that. I see it coming. I'm not an idiot. I know what hand signals mean.
Yeah.
It's not Mama's first rodeo.
Very well.
I really think that's going to work.
Yes, it's being thrown from a roof, so...
Donkey Kong.
Yep.
I've been Donkey Konged.
Yes.
Okay.
I just step to the side, and it crashes down next to me.
Okay, sure. Let's see this insight resolve roll. How much stress do you even have? We're still in that. Okay.
I also am tapped from my vice. So this is going to be really fun.
Yep.
So let's see. Come on, baby. Come on. Yeah, this is not Mama's first rodeo.
Yes. So you resist the harm, but sidestepping it is what Jackal needs to like roll aside. So you can't, fully resist the consequence of her regaining the situation somewhat, right? So you step back, she rolls aside, barrel lands between you, smashes to pieces, and you hear from up above someone swearing in Scottish.
Hamish, is that you?
You hear a callback. No, not Hamish. Sorry.
What's your name?
Yeah, I guess he answers. And he goes, "Oh, I'm Goliath.
Nice to meet you, Goliath.
Likewise.
Anyway.
Sorry about the confusion.
No,
Guy
I'm
was
sure
trying to kill you. It's his sword."
Oh, Jackal. Why didn't you say so earlier?
I did, she says with some indignation, standing up. She's not trying to run away now, but she's cleared enough distance with Clem.
But this is a beautiful thing you have done for us.
Thank you. I hoped I'd find some appreciation around here. He glares at Clem.
Jackal, Jackal, if you ever run short of people who appreciate you, which I cannot imagine you doing, you know where to come, okay?
All right. Mushfiq's gonna sit on to you and pat you on the shoulder and go, no, she's trying to take over our turf, is what she's trying to do.
Wait, no, okay, Jackal. Come on. This is our area, okay? It's our neighborhood. It's our hood, as the young people say these days. And I am young. Okay, you have your hood, we have our hood, and we appreciate the mutual help in each other's hoods, but it's still our distinctive hoods, you know?
And keep damn assassins out of your hood.
Well, as I said, like, you scratched our back, and now we owe you a favor, but it's still our hood, okay? This is still our place.
And
right?
Mushfik says to you, like, specifically, she's claiming your mother's house. She's claiming that.
Wait,
Can't let that happen.
Jackal, is that true? This is like a angel and devil on my shoulder now.
Yeah, she looks back into the dark and she says, "Look, you ain't taking care of this place. There's been strangers skulking about. We've been getting in here for weeks. Ain't nobody stopped us before. We figured you just stopped caring. All y'all."
Jackal, I was in prison. It was really cool. Mm-hmm, yes.
Right.
Oh, well, that explains a thing or two.
This is a classic colonial talk. They say that we are not good enough to take care of our own, so they come in, they do social engineering, this kind of stuff. Like, this can't work.
Mushfik's been reading some theory, huh?
Yes.
Mushfik, your theory.
The code was that child.
Yeah.
Lend me the book after you finished with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen,
My Ustad said to me anyway. I don't know what any of that means, but
Yes. Okay, so Mushfik is more like Alkader than he realizes. I guess. Why saves?
I point an accusatory finger at Jackal and say, Jackal, I assure you, my mother's house is fully engineered and socially. Okay? We have all gotten together and built the house. We don't need you to add like more social engineering. Like, and then I turn to Mushfik to see if like I'm following the thread correctly.
Yeah. And
Mushfik doesn't know enough to say that it's wrong. He goes, thumbs up, yeah.
Yeah. So she raises her hand, she backs up, she says, "Fine. You think you can take care of your people? We'll stay out of it." And she says this as if this is clearly a bad idea, because
But okay, we aren't like rejecting you totally or anything like that. It doesn't have, we can still, you have your guys, we have our guys, you have your hood, we have our hood. We can still help each other. We definitely owe you a favor, I think, unless like the whole sibling claim beating. Okay, so sibling claim has some,
the favor is you leaving.
Sibling claim has some
getting.
opinions on this.
yeah.
Oh, I have more than opinions.
Mm-hmm. I think when you say your favor is you leaving, she just kind of melts away into the shadow, which was her plan all along. And you hear Goliath up on the roof go like, "Oh, we're leaving? All right. Bye. Sorry about the barrel."
Goliath, next time you can come for some tea, okay?
"Thanks, I think," he says as he heads off over the rooftops.
What a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
He almost brained me with a barrel. Yeah, he's a nice guy.
I'm sure from his perspective you deserved it. Sibling claim, is this some sort of like, is this about the war?
No, why would it be about the war? That was years ago.
Because you're from Severus and she's from Scotland. And I know that you guys were, I know Severusi were really involved in that war. But you're sure it's not about the war?
No.
Then I believe you. Okay.
It's about, I was worried about your family. Never ends well. People coming in, trying to claim things.
And that is why we assert boundaries properly, as you have done. And I love you for that. And then I'm going to give Clem a hug.
While she's on fire?
I'm on fire.
Oh, is that still happening?
I think probably smoldering at this point, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give you a hug and kind of like pat the flames off.
Mm-hmm.
Because clearly you aren't going to do it to yourself, and I'm worried.
Yes.
I say, Shere Khatam, why should you be excluded? Come.
Yeah.
Thanks for the backup, Mushfik.
Of course, no one's coming into. Like I said, I'm used to people coming into my home and claiming it as their own. I don't.
Yeah.
But you know what? All hugging and friendships with Goliath aside, and then I kind of like lean down and I pick up the sword. This is some serious shit. Some poor little fucker died for this.
I don't think they were poor. Look at the make. It's good.
I meant it in a less materialist analysis, but you're also correct. Pretty fucked up, isn't it, for rich young men or women or whatever to kind of be told, hey, there's these upstarts down in the dock, some refugees. Why don't you go start some shit up? And they just come down, and then some from Scotland just shoots them in the head. That's a really sad story all around and very stupid. You should do something about that.
Should.
Should we?
I think that's a talk to be had with Saeeda, though. Maybe in the morning. You two get to bed. I'll keep the house down.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Clem, what's your second downtime action?
I think just as the scene ends, we're going to see Saeeda on a rooftop, watching all this happen, with a look in their eye that suggests that, maybe they're thinking about this as well.
So you could have stopped the whole barrel thing anytime you wanted.
Yes.
You could have
I
helped
could have
and you
stopped the
didn't.
barrel thing. I could have stopped the being set on fire thing. Yeah, I could have done. Yeah.
I think we'll cut to Saeeda after this. I just want to see if Clem has another downtime action quickly. But yes, there's stuff happening on Saeeda's side as well.
Now, I could do some recovery, but consider instead I have a long-term project we haven't determined yet, which is getting my vice back of securing roots and reliable income, comma capitalism, baby.
Yes.
So, how many ticks would you like on that? Because I have some ideas for pursuing this now.
Yes, I think it's a 6 o'clock. Let's say, he does like you. It's just, he needs money to stay in business. This is how it goes. And you have it costing him a lot.
But if I can get some business up, we're good.
Yeah.
And I am going to leverage some tales. I feel like Bidrohi's made a bit of an impression on Clem. I'm going to leverage some tall tales of a vigilante on fire defending against these mercenaries for hire who have been killing people in the in Bundavest to drum up some support. The vigilante who uses things from Woots. He's such a good guy. Look at him.
So
buy from him. He's an upstanding member of the community.
So so you're introducing yourself as a mysterious sponsor in the night, is what you're saying.
Yes, I am going to do that.
That is totally not me.
Just lives near him. Wow. If you buy from him, maybe the vigilante will show up and help you when you least expect it. Merch, baby, merch. We've got a merch line going.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Do a sponsorship deal with yourself. This sounds like consort, but...
Excellent. I have a DOS in that. Let's go. I think this is an excellent way to start off.
Yep.
That's, pretty good. 2 ticks.
2 ticks, yeah.
Not too bad.
Not too bad indeed. Just bad considering you can't indulge your vice until you finish this clock, so...
Oh well. C'est la vie.
Yes. We can get back to resource spending later, but I think it's good to have everyone's default downtime actions done.
How many traumas do you have?
2. I took 1 last score, so I don't take stress if I don't indulge.
Yeah. Be careful about this because it's harder to run multiple characters in this podcast.
Yes.
Yep.
I think Salty thought we're reminding them that of the rule that I always forget, which is that if you don't indulge your vice, and you have trauma, you take stress equal to the number of traumas you have.
Unless you traumaed out in that score.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I traumaed out in that score.
Correct. Okay.
The efficient way of doing traumas.
Yeah, I say this because I'm going to have to efficiently take some stress now so that I can indulge my vice.
Yeah,
So
very good. Let's see what Saeeda's up to. Let's cut away to Saeeda on the roof and then heading away to do other unrelated things.
yeah, so I see this happen,
Mhm.
and it is obviously concerning to me.
Mhm.
But it's also concerning to me because it seems like both Bidrohi and I not being around has meant that the Kethrasi have. I mean, they've been having to fend for themselves, and this is not necessarily like something that like they're not allowed to do. Obviously, they should fend for themselves.
Yeah, but to be clear, like the reason that Jackal and her gang could get away with this, with just hang around Kethrisi turf, is to some extent that the Kethrisi let them, because they were causing less trouble than the, fucking assassins. So
yes, absolutely, yeah. So I think that one of the things that strikes me as something we need to do is, until now, our community outreach has mostly been, okay, whoever wants to come to the school can learn, I guess, free of charge. And then we know this one guy, Alkader, who is there. He exists.
Yeah. I want to point out, by the way, Saeeda, that you were also cut off from your vice. Like, we haven't dealt with that.
I know.
But yeah.
I know.
Uh-huh.
I'm aware of this. And so I think that what I want to do is I want to see whether I want to like because we were talking about like defending the community and so on. I think what I want to do is, now that I understand a bit more the lay of the land, is it possible to make more of an impact by doing like more street level stuff in a way, right? Like, so I don't know if this is like a gathering for or a long-term project, but I want to meet some of the other community leaders who I'm sure exist.
Yep.
Okay.
We will, we will frame this as just a scene first before we decide on a project, I think.
Yeah.
Let's meet some of the Kethrisi community leaders. I think this is an interesting scene. It's worth focusing on. So we have Alkader, who is a man of the people, and who seems to be the voice of the Ankatam, generally.
And the Rocka guy left.
Yeah, and the Rocka have left. So there should be a couple of other like big community figures, and let's not introduce one per other, or maybe let us introduce one per other player actually, because that adds up to 3. Maybe not all of them will be spotlighted. So everyone other than Saeeda, invent a person for this scene, starting with Aadiyat. Introduce a community leader of the Kethrisi.
Oh boy. Any particular flavor or just?
Yeah, I can. Let's give it some flavor and some theming then. All right, you can get to start with the religious head of community. I think there obviously exist. You don't have the trees here, but there must obviously still be some spiritual leadership.
There's also
a chief horticulturist who's kind of not got a whole lot to do, I guess.
I think I'm also going to point out that the Kethrisi dispossessed section in the Udasha has 3 other people aside from Alkader.
No, yeah, we have introduced some people. This is true.
I think they're quite good.
Okay.
Do you want me to read them out?
Okay, yeah. We have a person called Tipu's mother who is a lore keeper. Okay, I guess we have defined these people already. Then, shall we just not detail them?
Yeah, we could read them out because we haven't seen them. We just have them written down.
Fair enough. I will read them out instead of creating these, because we've already created them. Sorry, Aadiyat. So we have Begum Kushmi Jamedar, dispossessed landowner, refined, generous, revels in tragedy. Biskut Bachchan, baker, humble to a fault, culinary genius, beloved. And Tipu's mother, lore keeper, perfect recall, garrulous, judgmental. So it's a baker, a former landowner, and a lore keeper. Do you have anything to add, Klow? I think you wrote these people originally.
No, nothing much more about them. I just wanted there to be someone called Biscuit Butchan.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, we have a baker, a former gentleman, I guess, like a landowner would have been such a person, so penniless noble, effectively, and a lore keeper. These people are in the scene, but let's still do some communal paint the scene then, changing the nature of paint the scene. I will instead ask Aadiyat, where do these people convene? Like, where do the local Kethrisi leaders meet when Saeeda calls something like this?
Could it be because one of my contacts is Ozzy's a barkeeper. Could it be at his place?
Okay. Yeah, sure. It can be at his bar. Why not?
Yeah.
All right. So it's at a dingy bar. Do you want to add anything about like how this bar looks like?
I expect it's not even much of a bar. Like it's I think what it is a tent like over an empty plot of land.
Yeah.
Right? Like, or I mean, not there's some just a patch of land where they stretch like sort of like maybe some canvas, or maybe it could just be like stitched together from like old sacks, and it kind of just patted the ground down, and that's what it is. Because after all, these are this is where the refugees, like, I guess sort of just hang out when they've got nothing else to do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, it's an improvised sort of situation. Klow, what do the retinue of these people look like? Like, what sort of people hang out around them? Do they have much of a retinue? Do they like turn up alone? Is there a crowd? Like, what's the deal?
I think there's a crowd. Like, I think Begum Kushmi Jamandar has a couple of like servants, people who I think a mixture of people that she's hired on here, and a bunch of people who kind of like were too loyal to leave her when she lost her whatever lands.
Yeah.
So she brings a few servants, and Tipu's mother has like someone who probably looks after her because she's probably quite old. Biscuit Butchan is too humble to have a retinue. But aside from that, I think there's also just a huge crowd of people who just show up to kind of like participate in discussions and so on, and just listen.
A public debate hall, as it were. Okay, Salty, I'm giving you the food challenge, I guess, but what's being served?
Oh,
because obviously when these people convene, there must be food, but they're also very poor, so...
I think it's kanfi, which are little rolled up, correct me if I'm wrong, chickpea flour and kind of dough that's been fried and rolled out and then tempered with oil.
Okay.
Oh yeah, love me some curry. It is, I mean, I've always thought they tasted weird. That's because more of the texture than the taste.
Yeah.
I tried making them the other day. They are harder than they look.
Yes, they are.
Like, pretty yum.
Yeah.
Okay, weird textured food. Yeah, all right. So that's the scene we're setting. Over some convey in this makeshift bar, surrounded by kind of a crowd of like random hanger-ons, as well as the Begum's retinue, as well as the Lord Keeper's assistant. And of course, the people themselves.
Great. So I think what happens is that Saeeda has probably some warm drink in their hand. It's been long enough in universe that that the weather has changed, right?
Yeah.
So would you say that like it's a bit colder now? Like I'm wondering whether like it's a warm drink that Saeeda has in the hand.
Yeah, the thing about Uduasha is because of the artificial sun, the weather is always pretty hot. So I don't think it ever gets proper cold in Uduasha, while the setting as a whole is pretty chilly. But it's probably a cooler day. Like it's rained some. It's not. You don't get the. Yeah.
But maybe there's like days. There's like a season where cold winds blow into the desert, and if you're in one of the parts of the town where that doesn't get direct mirror light, it's cold, pretty chill, pretty chilly.
I think that's the.
And we're next to the river, right? So like.
Yeah.
probably, yeah. But in any case, I like the idea that it's a bit colder, because I also like the idea that, like, Cathris being coastal, has quite different weather, and like one of the things that we're having to deal with is that, like, the weather is different here than it was back home, right? And there is some small hullabaloo as everybody kind of gets settled, and I think Saeeda at some point is just going to look at the Begum as if to be like, should we start now? And then when they get the go ahead, she'll kind of stand up and like clear her throat. And I think they will just stand and they will say, friends, thank you for coming. I wasn't expecting such a large crowd. Actually, I thought that it might just be me and the Begum, and well, I wasn't sure who else would come to, but it's gratifying to see you all here. I intended to speak about the way that our community is being treated in Uduasha, and whether we should do something about it. But it's also been brought to my attention as recently as yesterday, somebody called Jackal has been wandering our streets, that some people have been asked to pay her for the pleasure of being kept safe. Whether or not she is the one keeping us safe, or whether she is the one we are being kept safe from, is not very clear, I think. Regardless, I imagine that all of us are at least concerned about the situation, so I thought it might be good to have a conversation about it. Are there many people here who have interacted with Jackal?
Yeah, you asked this question, and I think, as you have mentioned it, Biscoot has looked kind of uncomfortable throughout, and I think he will be the first to answer.
Yep.
He's a he, right? I don't think we have their pronouns.
No, I imagine that he's a he. But I mean, someone called Biscuit could really be gendered as anything.
Yes.
I just imagining him as Amitabh Bachchan, to be clear. But then I also imagined the healer Amitabh from the previous season as Amitabh Bachchan. So I just have a very basic imagination.
Yeah. So he stands up and he says, "Well, as a matter of fact, I know about this situation, and you see, there was some troublesome type moving around the neighborhood, basically looking to kill our people for sport. One of my acquaintances sadly got injured, almost got killed. Managed to drag him out in time, and then, well, these vigilantes, obviously they're not friends of us, but when they turned up and said they wanted to deal with this guy killing our people for sport, I thought, let wolf slay wolf. And so I may have implicitly given them permission. I didn't really mean to, but that's on me. And in my humble defense, I don't like it when people try to kill us for sport. I don't.
I'm gonna cut in before anybody else can try and talk, because anyone who tries to respond to "I don't like it when people kill us for sport" with "well, fuck you" should not be allowed to say anything.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna very quickly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This guy related to Almurad.
Maybe, yes. Yeah, maybe.
Indeed. So I'm going to very quickly cut in and say, no, I understand it's a difficult position for all of us to be in. I don't blame anybody. And to be clear, I think that I appreciate what Biscuit has done for us by intervening in a situation that was certainly very tough. I wasn't there. I can't comment on whether or not a better decision might have been there to be made, because I wasn't there to make it. And I think all of us have to accept that he was brave enough to step in. But one of the reasons I called this meeting was that it struck me that perhaps we should, as a community, take a decision about what it is we want to do about such problems. Because I think it's unfair for somebody like Biscuit to be the person bearing this responsibility. And rather than that being the case, perhaps we should all make a decision together.
His biscuit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. I think that you are making some sort of action here, possibly a downtime action.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
How I will frame this, I think, is that we'll call this uniting the Keteracy. I think that's what you're working on. You're holding an inspiring speech. Let's also call it a 6 clock. I've been going with 6 a lot, but 4 just feels too little for this.
No, 4
and
does
if you finish this, if you go with if you finish this clock, you will move to allied position with the entire Keteracy dispossessed. They already like you a lot, but they will basically rally behind you if you finish it. So that's in part what this does. The result may also impact other stuff. This is also kind of a way to gather information for a score. But let's call it a downtime project.
I think that what I partially one of the things that I'm angling for is that it would be very useful if everybody agreed that officially the people in charge of taking care of security in this place is the Rising Moon School.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's indeed what you're working towards. So
and I think one of the reasons for that is that, like, out of the fiction, what it does is that then it gives us permission to do things more proactively. We're no longer just like alongside the community; we're leading it to some extent, at least. And then in the fiction, I think for Saeeda, what it does is that it allows them basically an excuse to get up to their own stuff under the guise of, because as we've
framing it like this.
Framing
it like this, I actually think it's a 4 o'clock because it's associated inherently with risk. So I think it's fair to make it shorter.
Sure.
Because appointing yourself official cops of the neighborhood is not like a project you just finish and then it's done. Like there's stuff at the end of that clock. So let's make it 4.
May I propose another bargain? One from the hooks for Keteracy Dispossessed.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of like make a variation on it. I think if we are like, okay, so you're proposing, so we have essentially said the Jackal and her gang can fuck off, right? Which means that there's temporarily, until before we step in, there's a temporary like gap in protection.
Yep.
So there's a hook here about how Biscuit Butchan is someone that the Flatbread uncles have always wanted to have on their side. And he's a very successful cook, baker, who is not a member of the Flatbread Uncle. So they're going to make an example of him.
Okay. Involving the Flatbread Uncles in some capacity, I think, is a suitable devil's bargain. If you're okay with that, you can take a bonus die.
This makes sense, because actually, they are somewhat involved with us already, right? Like, we got away with not implicating them the last time because we rolled very well. But they're on our radar, right? So I think that's great. Yeah. That's totally fine. I feel like this is more of a sway than a command. But it might be a consort.
It can be sway or consort. Either is fine.
Okay, I'm gonna pick sway, even though I want to pick consort because I have 3 dice in sway and 0 dice in consort.
Yep.
So
I think it's fair as a sway. You're holding an impassioned speech. It's reasonable.
And I'll take 1 bonus die. I took a devil's bond. Yeah, I can't push myself, so that's fine.
Yep. So if you crit, you finish this instantly. But it's a 6, so it's not an instant finish, but you can spend a rep or a coin to upgrade it.
You know what I'm gonna do? I think this is when we find out that, like, what Saeeda was doing last night. And I'm gonna spend 2 stash here to do this. Which is that we will see that after watching this, Saeeda went to the Begum's house, woke her up, had a conversation with her, and then gave her some heirloom from Saeeda's own house. Kind of like a bribe, and then kind of like a gift of good faith for her support in this conversation.
So she will vote in your favor here. And so I don't want to linger too long on the scene. It's interesting to see everyone, but I think that she stands up and she says, really, I propose that we take these matters into the hands of the people we can trust and can rely on, which are not masked vigilantes who don't speak a language and won't even show their faces, but the people of the Rising Moon. It's true their involvement may have caused some of this to begin with, but it was always going to be caused. They were always going to disregard us if we don't make them regard us. And she looks to Saeeda.
Right. And I think Saeeda will like stand and look out at this entire crowd. And then I think Moonlit is in this crowd, and Saeeda's eyes are going to meet Moonlit's. And this is kind of the same vibe as yesterday, which is that Moonlit doesn't like this. Moonlit doesn't want to be involved in violence in the street. And in the same way as like Clem and Bidrohi and Mushfiq were involved in something she doesn't like. I think all that's happening here is that Saeeda's doing the same thing in a slightly different way.
Yes, but I think you're winning over Moonlit as well, though, because there is a good speech here. There are community leaders backing this. And, basically the sense among the community is like, this has become necessary. Like, we have vigilantes fighting assassins in the streets. This is clearly completely unsustainable. So the vibe that spreads out among the communities, we need the Rising Moon, actually. Like, we clearly can't rely on the Uduashan cops.
Yes. And I think, all that'll happen then at the end is that, like, Saeeda will raise her sash, like, in her hand, like her fist up, and she will say, this is an honor and a duty, and one we will not take lightly.
Yep.
Because they know how to work a crowd.
Yep. Here close the doors to the House of Endings. Those who dwell within are Zoheb, called Klow, Aadiyat, called Soap, Psalmistry, called Tree, and Salty. I have been Prince, your host. Our city of Uduasha is based on Blades in the Dark by John Harper and Evil Hat Productions, with special thanks to Johnstone Metzger. Follow us on Twitter or support us on kofi.com/desperateattune. If you want to engage further with us, we also have a Patreon at patreon.com/desperateattune, where you will get our newsletter, extra content, and updates from Uduasha.
On the next episode of Desperate Attune.
And behind these three stalls sits a figure who, much like Clem's special friend, is huddled in rags and looks mostly human shape, and that perks up the moment that you approach. And
why are we calling it Clem's special friend?
Yeah.
Don't like this. This sounds wrong.
Yes.
I don't know what else your special friend is wrong.
Yes.
No. Well, if it's wrong, I don't want to be right.
Well, that's good then.